Good morning, students. Hi, today in Piles Easy Commerce, we are doing towards the end of fourth module a very different topic and it's one of my favorite topic, that is the startup ventures. So the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, that is DIPP, defines startup means an entity incorporated or registered in India, okay, not prior to 7 years. However, for biotechnology startups, not prior to 10 years, with an annual turnover not exceeding INR rupees 25 crores in the preceding financial year. मतलब 2 साल में या 1 साल पहले, it should not be more than 25 years. And plus, it has to be some innovation, development, improvements, or products or process or services if it's scalable business. Like for example, today we are doing an entire class on Google Meet and Zoom, okay, with most of the colleges or teams. तो किसी ने ये सोचा होगा कि ऐसा एक एक टाइम का नेसेसिटी आएगा. दो कोरोना इज समथिंग दैट वाज अनएक्सपेक्टेड, और इवन इफ इट वाज एक्सपेक्टेड और पीपल रियलाइज दैट ओके ऐसे कुछ होएगा, ऐसा कुछ करेंगे बड़ा, सो दैट द medical business is on a big boom. That is a secondary thing. But somebody had thought that, okay, we will do our online platforms like this. So startup is very much essential. At least 25 crore, not more than that, has to be the turnover. 7 years for non-biotechnology, and for biotechnology startups for 10 years. Okay. Also, the startup gets a lot of tax benefits from the interministerial board, and the government has launched, January 16, 2016 at New Delhi में Startup India movement हुआ था. It's a big thing, and there are so many funding, so many things. Today we will do a lot of terminologies related to that. So Startup India is a flagship initiative of the Government of India to build a strong ecosystem for nurturing innovation, driving sustainable economic growth, and generating large-scale employment. The startup movement extends to a wide range of sectors, including technology, agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, education. So let us see proposed action plan कि गवर्नमेंट ने क्या क्या प्रपोज किया है. तो पहला चीज है सेल्फ सर्टिफिकेशन. सो क्रिएटिंग अ कॉम्प्लायंस रेजीम, मतलब एक तरीके का थिंग, सेल्फ सर्टिफिकेशन टू रिड्यूस द regulatory burden on startups, thereby allowing them to focus on their core business and keep compliance cost low. कि इनिशियली व्हेन यू आर डूइंग, ओके, सपोज मैं ऑलरेडी एक बिजनेस में हूँ और दूसरी चीज के लिए मुझे देखना है कि इसमें भी आई एम गुड, और आई केम अप विद अ सुपर प्लान. सो दैट इज योर सेल्फ सर्टिफिकेशन, and you require like this, just the starting thing, like a stamp from the government to go ahead with this. Then I have is setting up Startup India Hub. So this is to create a single point of contact for the entire startup ecosystem and enable knowledge exchange and access to funding. मतलब है, India is known as a hub, and it is encouraging a lot of make in India products. This is possible only because Startup India Hub. Then I have is the single platform. So rolling out of mobile app and portal to serve as the single platform for startups. अभी you'll see so many companies have their own apps. अच्छा ये चाहिए, चलो उसका app download करो. So it is basically, there are so many companies जो ऐसे 4-5 चीजों के लिए एक ही app पे you can just go ahead and book everything. So that is known as a single platform for the convenience of the customers. Then I have is relaxed norms of public procurement. So this is for startups to provide an equal platform to startups vis-a-vis the entrepreneurs, companies, experience in public procurement. उसके बाद I have is the legal this thing, that is the relaxed norms. So an equal platform to startups in the manufacturing sector vis-a-vis the entrepreneurs or companies experience in the public procurement. So all of that is the relaxed norms. When you go to a public company, there are a lot of things. But when it's your own small startup, you just realize कि चालू तो करते हैं. If things go well, maybe it goes double in that time. So all of that will come under the relaxed norms. Then I have is fast tracking of patent examination. Now very important is patenting. Patent क्या होता है कि मुझे, nobody should copy my thing. So this copyright thing is known as the patent. So when I'm talking about patent, to have awareness, adoption of intellectual property rights, or commercializing, all of that is known as the IPR, means intellectual property rights. Like, the same thing किसी और ने register नहीं की होनी चाहिए. Or it's not, it's like a registered mark. How you have a AG mark, ISI mark, this thing. Similarly, अगर आप Nike का जो symbol है, all of that is a patent examination because I want to make my company in the longer run a big brand. नहीं चला, so there is a faster exit, So 90 days ऐसा लगा कि कुछ ही नहीं चल रहा है, your product एकदम बिका हुआ है. So all of that comes under the faster exit. Then I have is the corpus of $10,000 crore. So providing funding support through a fund of funds with a corpus of 10,000 crore. There are many companies who are like angel investors. We are just going to go ahead in this thing and know more about it. So there is, people who fund all this, startups. They have a say. Like I'll give you an example. Like the Tata company, he invests a lot in startup ventures when he thinks that it's a good way, and they also have their stake, and the new people also enjoy it. But your idea has to be something very innovative. Credit guarantee fund, so for startups to catalyze entrepreneurship by providing credit to innovators across all sections of the society. So all of that is the credit guarantee fund. Then I have is the capital tax. So there's a tax exemption on capital gains. Also there is tax exemption on profits for 3 years. Then there is innovative centers. So there are these R&D, successful innovation through augmentation of incubation and R&D. We had done in entrepreneurship also last year. Then there are a lot of centers that create entrepreneurship. There is thing, and they also give you guidelines for how you're going to do ahead, how things will there. So all of that comes under the innovation centers. Then I have is the research parks. What are these research parks? So there are very things, there are people who are spending crores of money on this. Why? Because they know that the future is in research. Like I'll tell you the iCloud thing, like you will see that most of your thing, what you can save on Google. Are you understanding? So what is the happening of this? So they know that the next thing people will now do is cloud because there's so much of data required for a lot of things. So there is setting up of 7 new research parks modeled on the research park at IIT Madras. Then I have is biotechnology and innovation. So promoting startups in the biotechnology sector to foster and facilitate bio entrepreneurship. Launching of innovative focus programs for students to foster a culture of innovation in the field of science and technology. So all of this. Now you'll ask me that who are eligible for this startup? Private limited company registered partnership firm, limited liability partnership, one person company as defined under the Companies Act, sole proprietorship. So in order for a startup, to be considered eligible, so an entity is considered as a startup up to 5 years on the date of its incorporation. You must have done in SP or OC that to start, you require incorporation certificate. Its turnover for any of the financial years has not exceeded 25 crore. It is supported by a recommendation or innovative thing or by an incubator funded by the government of India or is funded by the government of India. You will see this Modi Sarkar has a lot of this part-time jobs, all of this. They want entrepreneurship. They want that people are employed and they do not resort to steal, thieving, and India becomes an independent thing. So all of these was proposed action plans under startup initiative. The second part to this is now when I'm explaining you what is crowdfunding, who are angel investors. These are all the sources of funding for startup ventures. First one I have is a crowdfunding. So crowdfunding refers to the small amounts, of digital, like of capital from a large number of individuals to finance a new business ventures. They make use of easy accessibility of vast networks of friends, family, and colleagues through social media websites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, to get word of mouth. Like for example, how you would say, for example, I'm just nothing like particular. Mohan, he started with a new mithai business and very different, different kinds of really innovative ones, which not really, and it must be good. तो उसने ऐसे लिंक फेसबुक पर किसी ने डाला, मैंने परचेज किया, फिर मैंने डाला, ऐसे हम लोग वर्ड ऑफ माउथ से उसके लिए वी आर डूइंग. सो क्राउड फंडिंग जो फर्स्ट पॉइंट है, so they have the potential to increase entrepreneurship by expanding the pool of investors from whom funds can be raised beyond the traditional circle of owners, relatives, and venture capitalists. Now we are studying venture capitalists corner in detail. So venture capitalists can be, considered by startups. So venture capital refers to funds provided by investors to startup firms and small businesses with perceived long-term growth potential. This is a very important source of funding for startups. They do not have access to capital markets. It typically entails high risk for the investors, but it has a potential for the above returns. Now there are three types of funding. मतलब वेंचर कैपिटल तीन प्रकार के होते हैं. पहला है डेथ फंडिंग, उस दूसरा है इक्विटी फंडिंग, मतलब बाइंग द शेयर्स, दे आर बिकमिंग अ पार्ट ऑफ द कंपनी मेन शेयर होल्डर्स. एंड तीसरा है मेजनीन, MEZZANINE. तो यहाँ पे पार्टली डेथ है और पार्टली कैपिटल है टू प्रॉमिस बिजनेस वेंचर्स. सो ऑल दीज केम्स अंडर वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट. वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट में क्या था? डेथ फंडिंग है, इक्विटी फंडिंग है एंड मेजनीन फंडिंग है. उसके बाद I have is the angel investors. So startups can also resort to funding by angel investors. Angel investors are often retired entrepreneurs or executives who may be interested in angel investors for reasons that can go beyond pure monetary returns. मतलब some people have कि दूसरे को help करना है, दूसरे को ऊपर रखना है और उनका actually they are worth it. They include wanting to keep abreast of current developments in a particular business arena, mentoring another generation of entrepreneurs, making use of their experience and networks. अभी जो investors जो पैसा लगा रहे हैं वो ऑलरेडी established companies रहती है, तो उनको पता है कि उनके पास नेटवर्किंग है. खाली ये इनिशियल बोल देना, नया काम के लिए 1 साल बहुत मेहनत लगता है, उसके बाद things fall in place. So angel investors can often provide valuable management advice and important contacts. Are you understanding? Because there are no public exchange listing their, securities, private companies meeting angel investors in several ways, including referrals from the investors, trusted funds, and other business contracts. So all of these companies pitch directly to invest. ऐसे face to face meeting होता है and they decide कि 50 फॉर्म में से कौन सा बेस्ट होएगा या what they would prefer to invest in. Then I have is peer to peer lending. So entrepreneurs also obtain funds. मतलब एक दोस्त दूसरे दोस्त को मदद कर रहा है. Peers, उसको peers बोलते हैं. So B2B lending is a method of debt financing that enables individuals to borrow and lend money. So middlemen from the process, but also involves more time, efforts, and risk than the general brick and mortar lending scenarios. This method has its own disadvantages, and that is there is possibility of default of repayment on the part of the borrower. They have to pay a higher rate of interest than the traditional loans through organized business banking sector. Transaction takes place online. Loans are securities that can be sold to other lenders. So all of that is peer-to-peer lending. Then I has funding by high net worth individuals. They are those things जो already, like for example Snapbiz, Snapdeal, Ratan Tata, they are the ones जो उनके already बहुत they have so much of money, but still वो दूसरे को help भी कर रहे हैं, and then they are doing they have a stake in those companies and their money is multiplying, plus they are giving chance to those startup companies by allowing them to be a part of टू ग्रो देम इन लाइफ. ऐसा है कि हम लोग तो सक्सेसफुल है ही है, बट हम लोग किसी और को मदद कर रहे हैं. सो ऑल ऑफ दैट कम्स अंडर the funding by high net worth individuals. Next thing I have is funding by foreign firms. So SoftBank hai, they're headquartered in Japan and they have invested in US dollar 2 billion into Indian startups because unko lag raha hai ki Indian people are very hard working. Then I have is so there was like SoftBank Group Corp karke, there is something like that. देन आई हैव इज फंडिंग बाय पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स. तो उसमें क्या है, वर्किंग कैपिटल लोन्स होता है, कॉर्पोरेट टर्म लोन होता है. सो एसबीआई ने एक फैसिलिटी इंट्रोड्यूस की है स्टार्टअप्स के लिए. तो वर्किंग कैपिटल इज डे टू डे, मतलब ऐसे इनिशियली दैट आई रिक्वायर टू रोल इन माय बिजनेस. कॉर्पोरेट टर्म लोन्स, startups existing business aspiring to grow bigger. Term loans, the loan secure may vary from 1 to 10 years. These loans come with floating interest rates and specific repayment loans. Then I have is the traditional funding from private sources. So friends, relatives and others, they can also utilize the private savings. Government funding under startup initiative. So under this initiative, the government announced funding supports to startups and a corpus fund of rupees 10,000 crore. Matlab government of India has done this. Funding by financial institutes. So there is SIDBI hai, NABARD hai, National Agricultural Bank for Rural Development, non-banking financial companies, NBFCs. So all of this needs of micro and small enterprises for new startups. I hope students, now the entire concept of startup has become easy. And the last thing I am giving you an example is, for example, there are cane things. People in the US, people who are now doing plastic free. You can see here clay pots also, earthenware. अभी वो एक नया trend है. There are a lot of people जो cooking, semi cooking करके भी, they send in dabbas, they parcel it all across the world. Yeah, canned food, Indian food, agro startups. You will see, I'm seeing of lately so many people जिसको agriculture based startups है. Fresh delivery, organic, wherever I'm going, it's organic. So all these are people who are, I'll give you an example, the Nashik farms or the Sarda farms and all, वो लोग अभी बॉम्बे में आते हैं once a week in a big trucks, or they don't require shops also, and they are selling, organic things. So this is one example that, very small money also you can have your own startup. Thank you, students. I hope this entire topic has become very easy. And the source has been taken by me, 95% from Manan Prakashan and 5% from online. Thank you, students.